here, we are going to continue on color schemes. So you will be continuing to make patterns with different color schemes. So the first of our prints this week is going to be a triadic, which is a triangle color scheme. So 3 colors that are equally distanced apart from each other. Now, it is really tempting to do yellow, red, and blue as primaries. Just realize that when you do primary colors, it will look very childlike. Because we associate primary colors with childhood and a lot of kids' toys, those patterns will often direct your brain into that realm. So you can use that to your benefit, but it can somewhat it doesn't always work as well as you would hope. Now here we have a ton. I had a horrible time trying to limit down these, as students did some amazing jobs with patterns. So we've got some really interesting, this one down here really started to branch out and use multiple patterns in a really interesting way. And I mean, this is really taking pattern to a new and exciting level. This student did this really pretty, almost wallpaper type motif. Very detailed work. Again, added white to the pigment. You see almost all of these here have some white pigment added to them for better coverage. You can see that, of course, the red, yellow, blue did not, and this one down here didn't, but most of them did. This one's really fun with these swirling, twisting shapes. The student did really enjoy that sort of car pinstriping, motif, but he really created this really interesting 3-dimensional overlay and lapping with this piece. These triangles are really fun. It almost feels like, I don't know, a cubist portrait. I feel like it could almost be something from Picasso. This really fun striping. Again, just really exciting uses of pattern, and you can use any, find and create anything you want. These are here to help inspire you. So in the second print, you'll be using an analogous color scheme, which is 3 colors right next to each other on the color wheel. So depending on where you pick, the color schemes will be more cohesive, or they can vary a little bit. I always find that the yellow, orange, yellow, green has some really interesting possibilities, as well as red, violet, and violet, because they do have a little bit of both warm and cool tone to them, instead of being like, say, this or this set, which would be all cool tone colors, and these, orange, red, orange, yellow would be all very warm tone. So here's some student examples. This was really lovely done. So the student did blue, violet, and violet, but you can see that she also used white and did not limit to any one hue of those colors. We see that here as well. So the student used blue, green, green, but in each one he used multiple hues and shades and tints of it. So we've got 3 different tints of each. This one has 4. This is 5, I think, up here, because that's very, very pale. So he's using multiple tints and hues of that color to create the pattern and the texture. And to me, this looks like the ocean into the mountains, like green fields. And in these, the bubbles, so the multiple tones of the same color were used to make more complex, or like the idea that these overlapped, so then they're darker, and these overlap, so they're darker. Now these 4 are more traditional. You've got your green, yellow, green, blue, green motifs down here. Again, the kind of bubble patterns, which are fun. This is just geometric shapes. Here, red, violet, violet. You can see how much brighter that red is on its own. She could have chosen to add a little bit of whites to those to lighten them up, or even a little black to the red to tone it down. Although I think it works really well. Here, another one with whites added for coverage. Really nice, interesting way of looking at this singular motif that has been repeated with different color combinations and in different directions. And now you're probably wondering what's going on here. This is yellow, orange, and orange, and it is done with fluorescent paint. So this student bought a set by Liquitex that are fluorescents. I will be using them in Assignment 5 myself. And they also make a metallic set, which couldn't quite use for this assignment, but is quite fun. So there are a lot of other paints outside of what's in your kit. A lot of specialty paints, fluorescents, colors that you can't just, you can mix them in theory, but they have a direct pigment combination that's manufactured to a better standard. So he chose to use that fluorescent paint for this assignment just to try something. One thing I found when I did a fluorescent paint print is that it can cause headaches, as staring at fluorescent paint while painting can be a little hard on the head. And then of course you have an option for a extra credit print in this assignment as well. And so in last assignment, if you did your rectangle extra credit, this time you can do square. Or if you did square last time, this time you can do rectangle. Or if you skipped out on the chance to get 150% on an assignment and didn't do either, then you can do either of them this time. So I do really encourage you to take advantage of these extra credit prints. There should be no reason you all aren't 150% at the end of this class. So so do take advantage of these, and of course they're really fun. So again, some triadics. These patterns they came up with last semester are fabulous, and some squares. So I look forward to seeing what you guys create in this color section, and I'm really excited to see what patterns you come up with. Remember to utilize your sketchbook and sketch out a few different motifs and patterns that you want to repeat, and play around with it before you start on your final print.